The DeSantis administration in Florida is under investigation for diverting vaccines from the general public to wealthy Republican donors. So now, look, this is not a surprise. It is what it is. That they're going to continue doing this stuff. It's an example of Republicans placing donors above regular people, above people's lives. So now let me give you some of the details here. One of the places that's administering the vaccines in Florida is Baptist Health Systems. And they recently told the Tampa Bay Times and the Miami Herald that the state of Florida told them to take some of the doses of the vaccine and administer them to a wealthy community. So now, right now, there are vaccines that are given to, the sick, the indigent, the poor. And so that's where most of the vaccines are going right now. The elderly, people who are immunocompromised, and that makes sense. Health professionals as well. All that stuff makes sense. So why give it them to wealthy people? Is it because they had a lot of extra vaccines? Well, it turns out, well, that's not necessarily the case. In fact, let me go here from a statement from Baptist Health spokeswoman Dori Alvarez. Quote, "It is our understanding the medical center at Ocean Reef asked the state of Florida for vaccine doses." So now understand that Baptist Health Systems gave these vaccines to rich people, okay, to a wealthy community that didn't necessarily need them. They weren't next on the list, right? So now when people found out about it, they were understandably outraged. And Baptist Health Systems is like, no, it wasn't us. We didn't give it to the rich people. You know who did? You know who told us to do it? The state of Florida. State of Florida says, oh, no, that wasn't us. No, we didn't do that. No. Well, okay, who's telling the truth? Well, I don't believe anything that Ron DeSantis has to say. And considering how it went to a wealthy donor, I don't know. Well, I'll let you decide it because there's more details to this, okay? So now, as I mentioned before, though, before I get to that, were there enough vaccine doses for everybody? It turns out, no, that was not the case. Baptist Health canceled vaccine appointments for hundreds of people back in January when this happened because there were not enough doses available. And of course, now we know why, because they went to vaccinate the 1,200 residents of the wealthy Ocean Reef community in that same month. Okay. And again, here's the kicker. Try not to be surprised. Some of the beneficiaries have donated to the governor's political action committee, which has garnered almost $4 million. Not only that, but Baptist Health Systems president and CEO Brian Keeley and his wife own a home in Ocean Reef. So, oops, not only did, again, the company, the CEO of the company, have a home there, but also that entire place is full of wealthy Republican donors. Probably both are lying here. Both are trying to throw the other under the bus, even though I'm sure that at some point, in some case, the owner's like, of course, divert the vaccine here so that I can get it. And everyone else. And they're like, well, as long as you keep donating to my campaign, sure. Oops. Who would have figured the Republican governor would have prioritized his donors for vaccines? I mean, of course, other than all of us. Because this is, exactly what happened. It's literally the most Republican rich person thing imaginable. Now, as a result, of course, the Democrats, the very few Democrats there in Florida, as well as Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried, are now asking the FBI. They asked the FBI to look into this, to investigate the delivery of doses to wealthy communities that tend to back DeSantis. And so I don't know how that investigation is going to turn out. For me, from what I know, I mean, it's just, pretty obvious what happened. There's greed, there's bribery and all that stuff. So now whether or not he will be held accountable for this really remains to be seen. Because I don't, the thing. Rich people don't get held accountable. wealthy politicians, powerful politicians never get held accountable for what happens. DeSantis, again, denies knowledge. Well, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Oh, come on. So, look, yes. So there's a lot of stuff here that pisses me off about the story. I think, though, the biggest one is how Florida has handled this entire thing, right? The coronavirus in the state. They've handled it incredibly badly, okay? Again, Florida is one of the most egregious examples. Yes, we shit on Texas recently for, Greg Abbott saying, oh, coronavirus is over. We're fine. Open everything up. It's good. 7% of their, of their population has been vaccinated, somewhere around 7 to 10% now. You still need a really high amount of people vaccinated to hit herd immunity. And, according to experts, we'll probably hit there sometime around midsummer if we're lucky. Assuming that, of course, large communities, lots of people trust the vaccine enough to take it. And there are problems on that front as well. And so there are issues, okay, to make sure that we hit that. Greg Abbott said, no, absolutely not. We're going to go forward. There was another state that did the same thing. Now, Florida's did something a little bit more insidious. In order to open themselves up, they just decided they were going to hide the numbers. Like, that's it. Like, oh, the numbers look really bad. Well, that's not good for us politically. So you know what we're going to do? Well, we're just going to fudge the numbers. We're going to hide the numbers. And that's it. We're done. We're done. Let's open everything up. Let's hide the real numbers, hide how bad the cases here are in Florida, because it's going to help my both re-election campaign. It was going to help former President Donald Trump, and it was also going to help my economy. So, hey, great. All right, let's open it back up. Well, the thing is, when they did that, they put a lot of people in danger. And so now we have the vaccines. Well, great. We got vaccines, but instead of giving them to the people who need them, the people who are on the front lines, the people who are doing the most work, the so-called essential workers, the quote unquote heroes, right? That they always go and laud, but yet don't pay very well. They still pay very poorly, and still deny them vaccines. They instead give the vaccines to lazy rich people who have done nothing, instead of the workers who obviously deserve them and need them more. Because, again, understand, and this is what's the super insidious part of it. Since they have opened up the economy, they force people back to work. Now, when you force people back to work and they're not protected, and you have these companies that they're trying to make sure that they don't have liability, okay, well, they go back to work, they get COVID, and they die. Especially when you don't enforce mask mandates and things like that. And so, these people get COVID, they die. And, that's horrifying. That's horrible. That should be the end of the story, right? That's awful. Let's not do that. But they made it worse, because instead of preventing that when they finally were able to do so, they instead vaccinated the corporations, the company owners, instead of the workers. I mean, the working class gets screwed again. They're getting fed to the machine while the wealthy get protected, because guess what? They're Republican donors. Of course, it's sickening. It's enraging. The story should make us all absolutely furious. It's not surprising at all. Yes, but I'm still pissed off about it. Because what it is, it's right in your face. They are telling you, we don't give a goddamn about humanity. We don't care about people at all. Send them back to the mines. Who cares? Who the hell cares? As long as me and my Republican friends, me and my donors actually get more money, and we get protected, well, that's all we care about. And the thing is, if you're a person who's super wealthy, I don't think you should have the vaccine, at least right away. Okay? I don't think you should. Why is that? Well, because if you're a multimillionaire, you're actually primed to be the most to be able to stay home. All right? For one, you can afford to stay home. You don't have to work. You're already wealthy. And if you have to, you can teleconference. You can have people shop for you. Okay. You don't need to work. You're not at risk. But the reason they want this vaccine is so they can go and attend the latest soiree on their friend's yacht. And that's really what it is. And of course, they don't want to have to do it with masks. Oh no, or social distance. No, that's no fun at a party. No, you want to have the big party in the boat. And for that, you need the vaccines, of course. But the poors, the people who will serve me on that boat, they don't deserve the vaccine. They can go ahead and get corona and die. That's what it is. Okay? I mean, and after all, they bribed the government. They own the governor. Of course they deserve the vaccines over the rabble. That's what they think. This is class warfare. This is class warfare. And like, I got to tell you, class warfare has been happening for a very, very long time. Whether we know it or not, or knew it or not, there has been class warfare, and it's been perpetrated by the rich against the rest of us. And guess what? They're winning. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.